Have you ever seen something so ridiculous, so over the top, that you weren't sure whether to laugh or scream? That was exactly how I felt as I tightened the last bolt on a 6-foot-tall wooden fence, one that now cut our peaceful lakefront right down the middle. It ran straight through the grass, the dock, and even the water like someone had drawn a line with a legal sword. Behind me, a dozen shocked neighbors stood in silence, watching this bold structure rise across what used to be a shared paradise. On the other side of the fence, Margaret, cousin to our now infamous HOA president, Karen, stood frozen. Her jaw dropped. Her luxury loungers and half-built jet ski ramp were now trapped behind a wall of wood. But how did it come to this? It all began 5 years ago, when I bought my dream home in Willowbrook Estates. One of the main selling points? Lakefront access. A sandy beach. A shared dock. My kids and I made beautiful memories there, fishing, swimming, and playing every weekend. Then Karen became HOA president about 6 months ago, and everything changed. She became a tyrant overnight. Fines for tall grass. Bans on wind chimes. Permission required just to plant a flower. But it got worse. She handed out special favors to friends and family. Her brother-in-law became the official and paid landscaper. Her childhood friend landed the pool contract. And when Margaret flew in for a long visit, suddenly rules no longer applied to her. Margaret didn't just bring a lawn chair. She built a full-on beach resort. Lounge chairs, tiki torches, loudspeakers, even a private jet ski ramp. She blocked the lake view and made it impossible for others to enjoy the space. I tried to talk to her nicely, reminding her it was shared property. She waved a paper at me, something about exclusive rights granted by Karen. Apparently, I only used the area on weekends, so she got it all. It looked fake. So I checked with the city and the county. Surprise. The lakefront was legally deeded to my property, and HOA had no power to change that. At the next HOA meeting, I presented the facts. Karen exploded. She claimed she had changed the bylaws, with no proof. She screamed that anyone who challenged her would be fined $500 per day. Meanwhile, Margaret doubled down, adding more furniture, blasting music, and even blocked my 8-year-old daughter from getting to the lake. That was the last straw. I'm a contracts lawyer, so I got to work. I reviewed every document, my deed, HOA rules, even meeting records. And I found gold. The lakefront was legally mine. The HOA had no jurisdiction, and interfering could make them personally liable. I sent an official notice. 72 hours to remove everything, or face legal action. They laughed it off. Karen even came to my door with a fake lawyer and wild bribes. Margaret offered a shared schedule. Their so-called lawyer muttered nonsense about squatters' rights. Still, they didn't budge. So I went to phase 2. I hired a surveyor. We marked the exact boundary line. Then I bought enough fencing to make my point, literally. At sunrise, my crew and I started building. We had permits, proof, and purpose. The fence ran in a straight line, right through the dock, the beach, and Margaret's setup. Margaret's coffee mug hit the ground. Karen arrived in curlers, screaming. She called the police. They checked my paperwork and left. Code enforcement? No violation. City Hall? No help. Karen even tried contacting higher authorities, probably the Pentagon. That night, we had an emergency HOA meeting. Karen had spread flyers calling me a menace. But the plan backfired. Other neighbors came forward with their own stories of corruption. A retired judge exposed her legal lies. Another neighbor revealed her garden had been destroyed by Karen's orders. Then, Margaret's husband arrived. He took one look at the mess, the fence, the drama, and pulled the plug. He started removing Margaret's things on the spot, muttering about Karen dragging them into an expensive nightmare. Karen made one last move. She tried to declare an executive order to tear the fence down. But even the board's lawyer had had enough. He stood up and said, "Karen has no authority. She's exposed the HOA to serious legal risk." The board voted her out immediately, unanimously. Then they pressed charges. Turns out, Karen had been stealing HOA money, forging documents, and paying her relatives illegally. 3 months later, Karen stood in court. Guilty. She got 2 years probation, 300 hours of community service, $47,000 in restitution. And me? Some mornings, I sit by the lake with my coffee, looking at that perfect fence and the calm water. Peace has returned. If this story gave you life, hit that like button and subscribe for more crazy neighborhood drama. Because trust me, the next one might be even wilder.